Welcome to our CommunityCare series by Cedar Memorial, another contribution in our long history of supporting the community.
Welcome everybody to our CommunityCare session by Cedar Memorial. My name is Dr. James Coyle, and I'm the grief care specialist and also a certified grief educator. These sessions are done to help walk beside you during the different times of your life that you might need a little encouraging or a little bit of hope. Today, we're going to be talking about the waves of grief and really begin to understand what that is all about. I grew up on the ocean, and I'm assuming that a lot of you have been to the ocean. One of my favorite things, I remember walking out into the ocean, and I'm in 3 feet of water. The sun is shining. I can feel the ocean breeze on my face, the smell of salt water, the seagulls flying around. The beach is full of people, dogs chasing frisbees, people playing volleyball. Over on the pier is lined with people, just having an incredible day. And then out of nowhere, a wave comes. And that wave takes me. I'm in 3 feet of water. And I can't breathe, I can't see, I think I'm gonna die. And I end up on this beach, and I'm a mess. Here in Iowa, we would call it road rash, but in beach language, we call it beach rash. And I'm a mess. And that's what how life happens. In the middle of nowhere, we might get caught with a wave of some tragic loss or something that we're going through that just takes us. But we have to get up. We have to walk back out because the ocean represents our life. So I remember going back out into the ocean. And this time I'm gonna go out a little bit more prepared. I kind of get my shoulder ready and bracing. I get my right leg back behind me, dug into the sand, and I'm embracing myself for the waves. But here's the reality. The sun is shining and I can't feel it. I can't see, I can't smell. I'm numb to the things around me. And yet I'm still out here. And here's what happens. A bigger wave comes. And even though I think I'm prepared, that wave takes me again. I'm still in 3 feet of water. I can't see, I can't breathe. I think I'm gonna die. I end up on this beach, and it's worse this time than the time before because now I have sand in places of my body that I never knew existed. And that's the pain of grief and loss as it touches us in places of our body that we never knew existed. But I still have to get up. I have to walk back out. And this time I go back out into the ocean and I am numb. I still can't even fathom what's going on around me. And here's what I learned in the ocean. Because the waves come and a bigger one came. And so what I did is I turned and I went with it. In beach language, we would call that body surfing. But today, I call it survival. Just learning to survive the waves of life. So during this session, we're gonna look at how these waves just come out of nowhere. The waves of grief, they come out of nowhere when you least expect it, or they come when you do expect it. Whether the wave is unexpected or expected, there's nothing that can prepare you from being carried away. I want to talk about some of the triggers in life. I mentioned our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions, our head, our heart, and our hands, because this is so important to understand. But there's a term that I have learned And it's called PTSI versus PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. It's a post-traumatic stress injury. We can recover from injuries. We all have our scar tissue. We all have different things that we've been through in our life. But those post-traumatic stressors that happen to us, let's just call those injuries. And so we're going to look at how to maybe care for those. So some of the triggers might be coming in our five senses. In our sight, it's something that we see that reminds us or takes us to the pain that exists within us. It might be something that we taste. Could be a food that reminds us of our loved one or of a situation. It could be the smell. I know that I've been on a lot of deployments over my lifetime, and there's certain smells that take me back to that time and that spot. And those smells are triggers. It could be hearing. Maybe you hear something that takes you to that painful place. And it could be touch. Whether it's grabbing, holding on to something. And when you hold on to that, it takes you and triggers you into that experience of the pain that is within you. So the waves, they come out of nowhere and they trigger our thought life. They trigger our sight, our taste, our smell, our hearing, and our touch. And so what do we do with all of that while we're in the wave? This quote by Vicki Harrison: grief is like the ocean. It comes on waves, ebbing and flowing. Sometimes the water is calm, sometimes it's overwhelming, but all we can do is swim. We have to go through it to grow through it, so we ride the wave. So while you're in that wave, try not to fight it, try not to squirm. Understand that this is the part of the process. Your grief is not an event, it is a journey, it's part of that process. So we ride that wave even when it becomes more difficult. If you have to yell, if you have to scream, if you have to cry while you're in that wave, I call those grief bursts. Do it. That's part of the wave that you're in, and make that part of your journey, make that part of your healing. Allow yourself to land on that beach. This is the hard part, because now you've landed. I don't know about you, but there's been times when I've landed on a beach and I try to stand up and another wave knocks me down. Stand up, another wave knocks me down. Stand up, I can't even get off the beach without falling on my face or falling to my knees. Those waves are going to continue to come, and just ride that out until you can get on your feet again. And then once you get on your feet, then you can move forward and walk back out. So let's talk about some tools to help dust you off so that you can take another step into the ocean. This quote by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross captures so much. The reality is that you will grieve forever. You'll not get over the loss of a loved one, but you'll learn to live with it. You will heal, and you will rebuild yourself around the loss that you have suffered. You will be whole again, but you will never be the same, nor should you be the same, nor would you want to. This grief journey is a process. Be patient. Be tolerable with yourself. Your life has changed forever. It will never look like it used to. So surround yourself with people who love you and support you. Nobody can ride your wave with you, but there are those that when you land, they can help you up. Maybe they can help dust off the sand so they can help you get back out into the ocean. So surround yourself with those people that can help you. Try to spend more time with the helpers and less time with the stressors. Be honest. Tell people what you do want to do and what you don't want to do. Stay true to where you are at that time in the moment of your life. Allow yourself to feel the different emotions, and they're going to come. You'll feel joy. You'll feel sadness. You'll feel anger. But allow yourself to grieve and to go through those emotions. These grief bursts, they're going to come out of nowhere. It's normal and it's natural. Go with it in your way. Companion yourself. And what I mean by that is to take care of yourself. Listen. Reach out if it feels good. Pull back if it doesn't feel good. Curl up when you need to. I can tell you times in my life where I have curled into that fetal position and cried during those moments for hours. And that was part of my journey. So allow yourself to do all that. Take proper self-care in your daily choices. Here's an interesting statistic. The average adult will entertain 70,000 thoughts a day. And then the average adult will make 35,000 choices a day. So you want to make sure that your choices are anchored in things that are healthy for you. For every negative thought, replace it with 3 positive ones. I work a lot with families that have lost traumatic family members, are in trauma. And this one mom, her son had completed suicide, and man, she was having a difficult time. She couldn't get the thoughts out of her head. And so I asked her, I said, tell me about your son. Tell me 3 things about him. Well, he had thick hair. And he had an incredible smile. And he wore the same stinking Nike shorts every day of his life, in the winter and summer. And I watched her as she began to relive these memories and these pictures in her heart transform. And she allowed her mind to help her engage in something healthy. And so I worked with her some more. I said, tell me more about your son. Tell me. I want to know everything about him. And we spent a wonderful time just going down this list of things that brought a smile to her heart and to mine as well. So for every negative thought, replace it with 3 positive ones. Now, this is a learned behavior. I'm going to tell you right now. We are born in a negative bias. So we have to train ourselves to overcome negativity. And how do we do that? We do it by positive thoughts, positive things, replacing that negative thought with 3 positive ones. I want to talk about reframing a thought, because reframing is very critical. Death happens versus death happened to me. Understand that thought line. So we reframe it. That death happens rather than it happened to me. Reframe that I am a victor because I have survived this loss versus I'm a victim. So the thought process to reframe is changing from victor to victor from being a victim. Death is usually random versus this death is a punishment to me. So it's learning how to reframe your thinking as well as engaging positive thoughts. Ask for help. This can be super hard if it isn't your style, but it's so important. If you're stuck, ask others to help, whether it's cooking, whether it's doing laundry, doing yard work, decorating, all of those things can be a big relief. I have an acronym for HELP, H-E-L-P, because when somebody helps us or whether we're offering help, we bring hope. The first letter in HELP. Hope allows us to see beyond the circumstances. It gives us the ability to look beyond this. And that's what hope does. The second letter, E, is for encouragement. Because we are encouraged, and there's been times in my life where my heart was just so overwhelmed, it's like flatlined. You ever been there like this? Well, what the encouragement does, it brings a heartbeat back, where my heart can begin to flow again. Encouragement. The L is a lifeline, something to hold on to. So when you're in that wave and you're gone, you can't breathe, you can't see, in your mind, hold on to your lifelines. Whatever those might be, it might be your faith, it might be your spouse, it might be a loved one. Those lifelines are incredible. And the P for help stands for purpose. And this is a reason to get up and walk back out into the ocean of life. So what we've talked about today is just understanding the waves of grief, knowing that they're going to come out of nowhere, they're going to take us, and we're not going to be able to even function while we're in a wave. And yet we still have to get up. And the most difficult thing in life is walking back out into the ocean after we have experienced something. But that's part of our journey of allowing ourselves to understand the waves of grief. Know that there's help for you. Help will bring you hope. It will bring you encouragement. It will give you a lifeline, something to hold on to, and purpose, a reason to live. Thank you for allowing us to walk beside you with this session of community care and understanding the waves of your grief.